We are live.
All right. Hey, folks. Scott and I are back with another great topic this week. So, this week, I want to talk to you guys about, give you guys a few tips about how to boost your puppy's confidence. Is a really, really big one. So, as you may know, if you're dealing with a dog who is fearful or shy, taking them to any new places, just taking them out and about in general can be a little bit difficult. But if you can boost their confidence and have them gain more positive experiences to that, then that'll be ideal. How is Archie when you bring him out and about, or like, when he was younger and stuff?
He. Let me see if I can remember. It's been a while. He
Yep.
was. He's generally like good, but he's also like for a big dog, he's not like super brave or courageous. He's there's a
Say he's
running
not
joke
courageous. Yeah, I know
with
what you
one of
mean, the
his.
big dog. Yep.
Yeah, so he like basically he will be brave, but then he won't be brave. So he's easily
Yep.
spooked and everything like that.
The
And
teeter totter.
I think
Yep.
that
Yep.
yeah, so I think that's sort of always been the way. Like he'll we used to go by like a horse farm, and when he would see the horses, he
Yep.
would bark at them. But if they tried to
Hmm.
come close, he would go away from them, type of thing. And so
Yep. Yep. Yep.
he's like fake brave. So he's like the tough guy who doesn't really want to fight. So
Yeah. He's like puts up a good front, but then it's like, no, not really.
like
Yep.
actually,
Yep.
it's okay. Like hold me back, but I'm not actually going to do anything. So
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yep. I'm not gonna. That's so funny. Yep. And so definitely, it can be a challenge depending on your dog and if they're shy or fearful. So, how do you build confidence in a dog? So first, you want to determine again if your dog is shy or fearful by looking at your dog's body language. I know with my clients, one of the first things I give them in a consultation is a whole handout with a dog's body language because dogs, like I say, are talking to us all the time. And the more you're able to read your dog's body language, the better you are to help them. So some of the things you want to look for in a dog that may be shy or fearful. So if their tails are tucked, that's a sign. If their ears are back and flat to the head, I know I see my dog do that a few times. Shaking is definitely a sign that your dog is fearful. If they're trying to hide, you'll see dogs trying to hide behind you. They may run under furniture. Those are all signs that your dog may be fearful or shy. Another one is all these are called avoidance behaviors. So essentially, them trying to flee the situation. Lip licking is one of them. That's one that I think most people kind of miss is the licking one. Like, oh, maybe my dog's thirsty, but again, look at the situation. But that's one. Them shaking off. That's usually a sign of them trying to regulate their emotions. If they drop their tail, that's one that most people know. If their tails are flat, that's a sign of a fearful dog. So you want to be mindful just to look for those things. But let's get into some of the tips that will help the dogs kind of gain some of that confidence and stuff. So number one, try to manage exposure to new things. So, for instance, if you notice that your dog is fearful, say, of a skateboard and things of such, of like people skateboarding, you can use treats. I tell people treats, use that as a positive association because dogs like treats. You can place that on a skateboard and then let them kind of investigate because dogs do want to investigate. And if they feel fine with that and you notice their body language is kind of calm and not fearful, happy tails and stuff, then you can go ahead and kind of move the skateboard along. But that's all like building up the dog's confidence to even approach the skateboard and stuff. In return, if you do this with a lot of different items, it'll make them feel a lot more confident to that exposure. If it makes sense. With Archie, did you have to do any of that stuff with him, kind of exposing him to stuff that he was fearful with?
yeah, like it just helped to sort of expose him to a lot of things we found, and sort of
Mhm.
being out and about, and just to go more for more walks, and just there's obviously things he's always going to be afraid of, or he just wasn't
Of
exposed to,
course.
like sort of like fireworks and that sort of thing. But
Yep.
um, it's new people, new experiences,
Hmm.
crowds are always a thing. So he's very interested, but sometimes he's put off. And so even
Exactly.
like I know skateboards or rollerbladers, he just is very. I don't know if he's fearful. He barks, and he like it's almost like he's worried for the person that is too dangerous, or the other thing is
Yep.
like if we took him over to a couple pool parties, and he would just run around the
Yep.
pool barking at everyone like being the police. And
Yep.
so he didn't
Yep.
like. I don't
Yep.
know if that's
Yep.
fear or if it's more like what it is,
He was
but
just playing. Yeah.
he was
Yep.
playing. It was
And
fear
and
for
that's
other fear of the people and stuff, and I don't know, but oh,
Yeah, and that's why I say get to know your dog's body language, your dog's temperament, and how they deal with certain situations. But that
Yeah.
goes to number two recommendation. Find an environment where your dog can be successful. So, for instance, there's no sense of sitting at home like, oh my God, my dog's fearful or shy. There's nothing I could do with them. Find a place that's like for instance, going hiking where there's not too many people around. It's a big open forest, and your dog can sniff. Dogs love sniffing in new environments, and I tell folks sniffing is very exhausting for dogs. So if they're spending time in an environment which they love and they love going to, and they're sniffing at the same time, that's less time they have to spend being too fearful about things because they're too busy. So in that, with that being said, think about the places you have taken your dog where they're not as fearful, and try going there and getting them accustomed to that first, and kind of experiencing that environment before moving on to other ones. So that's helpful. Also, number three, take up agility training with your dog. That will help boost their confidence as well. Things like agility training basically involves teaching your dog how to jump over poles, running through plastic tubes and things like that in a specific
Yeah.
order. And what the dog learns is they learn cues from you, and they learn to trust you, and also they learn how to trust themselves as well, navigating that course. So that'll help build their confidence as well.
And it's pretty fun too.
Piggybacking,
We do it with Archie
yeah, you do
actually.
agility with Archie, right?
Yeah, when we first started, he was very scared of going through the tunnel. The tunnel is very hard because it
Yep.
gets dark and then it gets light. So we had to be at
Hmm.
either end and like call him through it. And so there's a lot of fear in the beginnings to sort of get him to do the different things. But then
Yep.
once he goes through it, he builds that confidence, like you're saying. And it's sort of, you can see it the more advanced he gets and the more you get
Hmm.
more. It's also on the person, like the owner and the trainer who's working with them, because if you're not confident, you don't know what you're doing, then it'll reflect in what he's doing. If
He's
you're
right. Exactly.
it's
Exactly.
pretty
Yep.
awesome. But to
Yep.
see the
And
transformation, if you have the
mhm,
opportunity, I would highly recommend agility because it's quite it's a fun activity with your dog. It's mentally challenging for them.
it
Like
tires them out.
yeah, we would do like an hour, and there'd be like 3 or 4 dogs in the class. So you get maybe 3 or 4 runs, and you
Yep.
do it like break down the different sections, and you do the whole thing. And it was just
Hmm.
like it's fun, but it's mentally challenging. It's physically challenging,
Exactly.
but they have fun because
Yep.
they can let loose. They can do jumps. They can do the
Exactly.
A-frame, and then they can do
Mhm.
the tunnels, and they just sort of have a ball with it. So it's pretty awesome.
Exactly. So definitely agility training, folks. And to piggyback off that, you don't want to forget obedience training. That's like the number one thing I work with my clients in home is building the confidence through obedience training, asking your dog, like I said, to say please on things like having them do sits, having them do downs and things like that. And then the more you practice that and the more they become successful at it, the more they can do it and understand it. And it actually does build their confidence a little bit more. So you want to make sure that you're doing that to build trust in your dog as well. Also, number five, you want to introduce them to new people and new dogs slowly. Everything I'm talking about here, you don't want to, if your dog's already shy or fearful, even if they're not and you're just starting out, you want to do things gradually, just so that you're not triggering them or forcing them into a fearful situation that you didn't know they were fearful with. So just like I tell folks, there is a way with properly meeting and greeting dogs. You don't want to make it so that it's like a long exposure. You just ideally want to do short greetings, 3 seconds on a leash. You can repeat that over and over again and make it longer and longer over time. But essentially, you just want to do it slow and gradual. And your dog will actually tell you how fast or slow you want to go with meetings because, again, you're going to read your dog's body language. Final one, number six, trying your dog to be around other dogs. I love this one. So I always tell folks if you have a puppy and then you have a friend or another dog that's older in the family that's well mannered and polite, have them hang out with that dog. It's just like any other person. They're going to learn from that dog as well. They're going to learn manners, learn obedience, and learn all that stuff. So have them hang around older dogs. But mindful again, if the older dog isn't quite trained, isn't quite obedient, you may not want to have your dog hang around that dog, but ideally hanging around other dogs will boost confidence, especially the dogs. I had this dog that was fearful to go out the door and go outside, but when the other dogs went out the door, the other dog went straight out the door because
Oh yeah,
it's like monkey see monkey do. I
yeah,
want to do what
yeah.
they're doing. So even doing stuff around other dogs that you want your dog to do, that's ideal when you're hanging around other dogs. So those ideally are a few tips that you guys can use to gain your puppy's confidence. But again, it's not just for puppies. If you have older dogs, you can start anywhere. Start by, if you don't know where to start, look at your dog's body language and you're going places. Check off whether they're feeling for it. Check off whether they're not, and start there and systematically start working at, gradually exposing them and building up their confidence. So, with that being said, I hope you guys gained some really, really good tips. Scott, do you have anything to piggyback off this?
No, I think this
Are
is
you
an
good?
awesome one. If you do and you have questions about building up your dog's confidence or any issues you're running into, puppies or older dogs, definitely feel free to reach out to Pam. You can hit up the Facebook page, message her through there.
Yep.
There's also the website. You can reach her out through there. We have to run because we are doing another live in the New England dog owner support group. So we'll be over there. If you want to catch us there, let us know. And hope everyone else has a great week, and we will talk to you next week with a new topic, especially. So
Yep. Bye.
Cool. All right. Bye, everyone.